I had a really great question in from Robert, which was along the lines of, Peter, I've just set up my limited company into which I'm going to buy my properties. How do I now set up a bank account for the limited company? In other words, what's the quickest and easiest way of doing this? Let me tell you about my experience in this. I've got a couple of businesses with business accounts which are held with a well-known high street bank. And I've been with them for over 20 years. So they've had two business accounts with me for over 20 years. I wanted to set up a new business account to go with one of my new limited companies a while back. And so I got in touch with them. And I imagined, because I'd been with them for 20 years, not just once, but twice, two consecutive running alongside business bank accounts, that it would be very, very easy. It was not. After about 2 weeks of what I considered to be stupid questions and going over old ground, asking for information which they already had because they've been my business bankers not once but twice for the last 20 years, to be honest, I just gave up and I thought, I cannot be doing with this. And so on the recommendation of a friend of mine, Dixie, thank you Dixie, I went to Tide. Now Tide are an online banking application. You apply for the account online, you have a phone app, and the two work together. And rather than taking weeks and weeks of ridiculous admin and ridiculous questions, it took me, I think it was 15 minutes to set up my business account with Tide. Now, at first, I thought this is quite good, but it's not perfect because the actual account which I set up had limits on the amount of money that you could put into the account, and it had limits on the amount of money which you could withdraw daily and all that kind of stuff, which I guess is normal. And so when I kind of expressed my disappointment through the help centre on the app, they said all you need to do is to set up an associated account. And what's more, the associated account doesn't even have to be for that business. So for example, if you were setting up two new limited companies, you could set up your main account on the app, and then you could have another account which is in the name of your other limited company, but on the same app. If that doesn't make sense, then I'm sorry, but if you do it, you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. The thing is, setting up that associated account took about 30 seconds. So you could literally spend 15 minutes setting up the main account, and then you can have 3 other accounts, which may be in the same name as the first limited company, or you could even set up 4 accounts for 4 different limited companies, but you just start with one account and then create these associated accounts. It was as easy as anything. Since then, I've discovered Starling. Now, at the moment, full transparency, I do not have a business account with Starling, but I like everything that they do and I like the way that it works. So either of those two for me, and I'm sure there'll be other sort of fintech type accounts out there which people are using. So who do you use for your business banking? Who would you recommend? I hope you found this video useful and informative, and if you did, then please come over to my website www.thepropertyteacher.co.uk, where you'll find loads more great property related resources, including free special reports to download and my best-selling series of ebooks, which includes the Successful Property Renovators Workshop, 63 common defects in investment property and how to spot them. And if you're just starting out in property, or if you want to grow your portfolio, you may be particularly interested in the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, in which I'll take you through exactly how I started and built my property portfolio, starting literally with none of my own money, and how I built a portfolio of £2 million worth of property in just 4 years. And that was starting from scratch. I'll take you through everything that I did right so that you can copy me and do the same. And I'll also show you everything that I did wrong so that you can avoid the mistakes that I made, and so that you can progress in property and be far more successful, far more quickly than I ever was. And this is based upon my own real life experience. And it took me about 4 years to actually work out how to do property investing properly. But in the 200 pages in the Successful Property Investors Strategy Workshop, I'm going to show you all of that 4 years knowledge condensed down so that you can use it immediately. And until next time, here's to successful property investing.